We are underneath the hood of a 1966 Chevy Nova, an SS style car. Great looking engine compartment. It does have the insulation installed in the hood. You can see the fitment of everything in the engine compartment is nice as can be. Brand new battery in it, new battery terminal ends. It's got new shocks in it, I can tell from looking at them. It has a heavy duty high flow radiator in it with the correct style shroud and appears to be a 7-blade fan on it. Could be 5-blade, I'm not sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5-blade fan. Has manual steering, disc brakes in the front, power, disc brake booster, and a dual stage master cylinder. So it has an upgraded braking system on it. All new lines from the brakes. Has a set of 1 5/8" long tube headers also installed on the vehicle. Someone's put a lot of attention into making this Nova appear to be an L79 car. It has the correct style pent roof type valve pan covers on it for the year. Has a winter snowflake era correct intake manifold and a 600 Holley carburetor also that appears to be era correct for an L79 car. It would be a 350 horse 327. I don't know the actual displacement of this engine. It's a small block Chevy obviously, but I'm going to guess it's at least a 327, probably a 350. Does have a set of double hump heads on it, which would be indicative of a 202 head. Nice looking engine compartment. The inner fender panels are nice and clean. There's no deterioration whatsoever on it. Alternators mounted down low on the driver's side. New belt on it. New hoses. The heat for the passenger compartment is still intact and operational. Radiator core support, there's absolutely no deviations, no bends or anything on it. It doesn't appear to have been ever replaced. So the car obviously hasn't been in any trouble, hasn't suffered any trauma. Original equipment style voltage regulator still intact on the vehicle. This engine compartment really looks great. It's an absolutely fantastic looking engine compartment for a 66 L79 style, SS style Nova. If it had the correct air cleaner, it would have 2 snorkels, one on each side here, but most people actually replace those with the 14-inch unsilenced air cleaner that GM came up with the couple years later. So you got a fantastic looking engine compartment. Absolutely no leaks whatsoever present. Looking at it from on top here, we'll see it better once we get it up on the rack, but there's no intake manifold leaks, no valve pan cover leaks, no timing cover leaks. Appears to have a new water pump on it also. Obviously the engine's been out and completely refreshed and completely refurbished. Fantastic looking engine compartment. This thing really is a very impressive looking 1966 SL style Nova. So let's go around the rest of it and see what we can find for you. Hi, you're at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida. We're going to present to you today a 1966 SS style Nova. Looks just like an L79 Nova from way back when. So, hood fitment, really nice. And again, I wish you could see the quality of the paint on this car. It's absolutely stunning. It's the brightest red that you could think of. The finish is absolutely as deep and lustrous as you could ever hope to find one. No deviations that I can see on the hood anywhere. No dents or dings or bumps or anything on it. Nice gap the whole way around. Feels like it's up a little bit. Might have to adjust that hood down just a hair. Anodized grille itself, really nice. This feels like the original grille in the car too. Doesn't appear to have ever been replaced on it. SS designation. A little bit of patina on this Chevrolet crest on the front of it here. On the top of it, there's definitely some little tiny pits in the chrome. Nothing that would dictate that you would replace it, but trim Trim around your headlights, just absolutely as new. Absolutely. Could not possibly be any fresher or any nicer than that. That is absolutely new. Bumper fitment. Could move that way about 1/4 of an inch, but certainly within production standards. The fitment is actually very nice. Just that way, probably 1/4 of an inch too far. I don't know if it would even be worth messing with. It actually presents itself very well as it is. You really can't notice it unless you try to put your fingers between the two ends. Chrome on the bumper itself, really nice. There's no dinghies in the front bumper from anyone backing into it. Little tiny mark there. Might have been a stone chip from a stone being kicked up. That's about it. Parking lights, lenses are very nice yet. Look like the original lenses, and they look very, very nice and clear yet. Nice front end of the car. Absolutely fantastic finish on it. A little bit of adjustment on the hood that we need to do. Other than that, this thing has a very, very nice nose on it. It's great looking SS style little Nova. Let's go to the driver's side. Okay, driver's side of our little Nova. Fender lip molding. Driver's side, just really nice and sweet. Wow, nice door fitment again. We have been really lucking out a lot on these cars. The fitment, the finish, everything lately. We've just been really, really lucky to get vehicles of this quality. Again, 327 designation with the Corvette Cross flags. Arms and blades appear to be original equipment style. Trim around the front windshield, which is an insert on the rubber molding that goes around it, just as fresh and clean as can possibly be. The dash itself, which is a padded dash, where it transitions onto the base of the windshield, is just as nice as you'd ever want to find. The dash is just as nice and straight as can be. There's no deviations in it. Certainly no cracks or fading or anything in the padded dash on this vehicle. Fantastic looking dashboard. Can't wait to get inside and take a look at it. Roof has no dinghies or dents or marks or anything. No distortions whatsoever on it. Drip rail molding. Goonie. There's a little, couple little dinghies here. Somebody's shop broom fell against it or something. I don't know if it would designate that you would replace it. A little tiny bit of patina on this piece of chrome right here. The polished stainless at the top of the doors. Top of the panel, just as sweet as you'd ever want to find. Wipe whiskers, just as nice as you'd ever want to find. Does have a bow tie mirror on it, correct style for the year. New door handles, the chrome's that deep on it. Really, really nice. Door to the rocker panel, gorgeous fitment. It's the same thing that you have to the quarter panel. This is very, very nice fit for these cars. I can't imagine you could get one much nicer than this. I really can't. Trim around the back window. That doesn't make any sense to me. I can't feel it. Never mind. It was a smear. It was a little bit of a smudge. It looked like there was something on the molding, but apparently there wasn't. I wiped it and it went away. The single speaker in the hatch shelf in the back. The hatch shelf has been replenished as new condition. Really, really nice black cardboard in the back. Trim around the rear wheel well. And look. Now these wheel wells, someone has folded in to give it tire clearance. These cars had like 0 tire clearance. So what they've done is where the fender well and the quarter panel come together, there's usually about 1.5 inches, an inch or so overhang inside. They've taken that and rolled it up so that you have clearance for your wheels. It's still there, I can still feel it, but it's professionally done and rolled up so that you have more tire clearance here. Regular gas cap for it. Super Sport designation. Got a great looking set of polished outer rim, but like a silver torque thrust style wheel on it. It has disc brakes in the front, drums in the back, but a great looking set of torque thrust wheels on this vehicle, which would have been era correct. If you bought one of these new, this is probably one of the first things you would have done is put a Kragers, Keystones, or American Racing wheels on it. This guy chose to go this direction. No, there's a tinted windshield in the front, which I neglected to mention, and it looks like this back window is also tinted. I'm going to say the back light is also tinted. Nice looking side of this car. It is like laser straight down the sides. The paint is just exemplary on it. Didn't really find any dingies or marks or anything in the paint itself. No chips, certainly. Nice looking. The chrome is very well represented. A couple little tiny marks here on the drip rail molding, and a hood that needs adjusted, and I think that's pretty much it so far. Let's go out back, see if we can determine something there. Okay, the back end of our little Nova. Again, the rear deck, you can see the fitment is just as sweet as can possibly be on it, and there's no adjustment needed whatsoever on it. The paint on this car is just, I wish you could see it in person. It's just another one of these. I think we have 3 in a row now that I can't find a single flaw in the paint anywhere on it. Just really exemplary. The chrome trim on the back for our SS is just as sweet as could be. There's absolutely no deterioration whatsoever there. Moldings around your backup lights and tail light assemblies, which are nice and clean and clear. Both sides just as nice as can be. Appears to be all the original lenses in it too, and the molding, like I say, is just the trim around it is just as sweet and nice as you'd ever want to find. Okay, bumper fitment in the back. That guy's right on the money. The guy in the front could go that way maybe just a 1/4 of an inch, but again, this is well within production standards. You're not going to get anything that fits much better than that. This one is spot on. There is not a way that you could possibly adjust it and have it more preferential than it is right now. Chrome on the back bumper is just beautiful. There's no scrapes or marks or anything. There's like a, I don't know what I want to call it. It's like a, I don't even know what to call it. There's like little tiny lines. They're not scratches. They're not marks. They're some type of a, just from age, I'm going to say the chrome has had just a little bit of a fade to it. I don't know what to call it. You're certainly not going to see it in the video, and you really have to look at it to see it where I'm at right now. And again, I got to really look to see it, but it's so finite that you're not going to even bring it up. I mean, it's just it's one of those things that we're going to say the chrome is, it's not 100%, but it's 90%. So very, very nice back end on this car. Let's do one more side. Okay, last side. Super Sport designation on our rear quarter panel, just as the other side. Same thing on this side, like lots of tin. Power antenna, I think. Yeah, it's a power antenna on it. Again, wheel well, you can feel the tin there, and then they've begun to roll it up in, starting right about here to give it wheel clearance, and that's what you have. Absolutely no deterioration to the metal itself, though. You can still feel the edge. It's just now rolled up in. The wheel lip molding itself is just really, really nice, though. Turn around the back window on this side. A little tiny bit of a dinghy right here. And again, you're not going to see it in the video, but I'm telling you it's there. It looks like when they installed this, they had it just a little bit harder in that spot with the hammer. Nothing on top. Real nice on top. And again, the top on this side is just as sweet as you'd ever want to have. Another dinghy here. Whatever they did, something fell on both sides right here. But the same, you can see something hit it there. Another little tiny chip here. Certainly nothing that you'd want to replace them. And again, the top of the doors. A couple little dinghies here, very, very slight, very, very minuscule, but they are there. Again, patina on this chrome piece, this U-shaped piece that joins your drip rail molding with the top of the door and quarter panel molding on this vehicle. Fitment of the quarter panel to the door. Same as the other side. It's not going to get any better. Again, new handle on this side. Paint on the door is just absolutely beautiful. Paint on his whole car is just outstanding. Just absolutely outstanding. Little tiny bit of patina on this chrome too. I neglected to mention there is a little tiny bit on that one on the other side too, on the driver's side. Again, you wouldn't replace it. It's originality. Door to the front fender. Again, our 327 designation. Hood to cowl area to front fender to door. Just absolutely as nice as you'd ever want to find. Wheel lip, our last one. And again, no dents or dinghies in it. Back up where we started again. Not a single mark or imperfection in the paint anywhere. A couple little adjustments on it here and there. A couple little minuscule that you really have to look at the right angle to see. I mean, we're being very, very picky about this, because if you get the car and you notice something that we didn't point out to you, are bad. So I'm going to pick out every little minuscule thing that I can. But the car itself is just as straight, as nice as you'll ever find one. It represents itself as a 1966 L79 style, which would be a 350 horse 327. Chevy Nova Super Sport. One of the greatest color combinations you could ever ask for. It's a nice bright red car with a black bucket seat interior in it. It's got tinted glass on it. It's got a set of torque thrust style wheels on it. Around a BFG rubber on it that appears to be as new. It's a great looking car. It's a nominally priced car. It's not a real expensive car. They have a following. They made these cars 2 years, 66 and 67, in this particular body style. And you have no choice except to buy them. Both of them were available with a 327L79 motor, which was a 327 350 horse. I think in the Novas they actually rate them at 325. It's the same. It's exactly the same motor. Aluminum intake, Holley 4-barrel carburetor, good exhaust system on it, double hump heads, 202 heads. Great, fantastic running engine in a great car. It's available here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida. I haven't driven the car yet, but Devin and I are going to take it for a ride, do an undercarriage and an interior presentation for you. And you got a nice car to take a look at. Okay, 1966 style SS Nova. Fantastic looking car. Sun visor just as nice as can be. None of the stitching coming loose on them. Nice tight headliner. Light works in the ceiling. Door trim just as sweet as could possibly be. Your vinyl on it is just really nice. The door armrests are not deteriorated at all. They still look to be original, to be honest with you. New rubbers in the doors, all nice fresh rubber. Around the top here too, your seals. There is one little tiny, I guess the mouse must have needed a hotel or something for a while, so he drilled a little hole here and he went up in there, but there's nothing deteriorated anywhere else on this headliner, so there's a little tiny patch here, but that's it. I don't see anything else that certainly would not designate that you replace the headliner in a car. Correct style, front and back seats in this vehicle. Buckets in the front, of course, for an SS, and the back ones match. Armrest ashtrays in the back. Side panels are just as sweet as can be. The window cranks are just as nice as you'd ever want to find. Trim around the rear window is nice and fresh looking yet, and it's not warped or deteriorated in any way. I don't see any seat belts in this car. There are no seat belts. We may have to add those to it. Glove compartment fitment is great. The padded dash is nice the whole way across. A nice original looking padded dash. The gauge cluster is really nice. Speedometer is nice and clear. The plastic over top of it isn't deteriorated at all. Fuel gauge appears to still be functioning, but we'll find out as soon as we take it for a ride. It does have a clock. Trio gauge is underneath it. It has the oil pressure, voltmeter, and the temperature gauge. Does have an aftermarket GM style radio and a Chevrolet radio in it. Does have the correct for 66 and 67 console in this vehicle, which is really a great thing to have. I mean, it's a great addition to the car. It really has a lot of pop to the interior of this vehicle, having this console in it. It has like a brushed chrome finish through the center of it with a bright chrome on the outside. It has some kind of a Mickey Mouse shifter in it for the automatic transmission. The dash, everything on this car is just as nice and clean as you could possibly ever hope to find one of these vehicles. It does have an aftermarket Grand steering wheel, a tri-spoke. I don't see anything at all out of place on this vehicle. Absolutely nothing. Again, the door panels, both of them are very nice. The armrests appear to still be original and not deteriorated. Door handles themselves and the window cranks, all 4 window cranks are nice, fresh-looking chrome on them. It's a nice 66 Nova. It's the only one that we have in this style in the building. We have a 63, and of course we always go through a raft of 68 through 72s. 66 and 67 are standalone years in this model production, and they're probably the most preferential of any of the Novas. Very, very difficult to find. You find a lot of sedans. This one happens to be a real super sport looking car in a 2-door hardtop. So it's available here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida. Devin will have about 85 to 90 photos for you to take and examine, plus the video that he and I are doing on the car today. So you'll have a lot of information on the vehicle that we're doing right now. So take a look at it. Hanksters, Daytona Beach, Florida. Okay, horn. Horn is not working. The wipers are functioning as they should. Wipers working. Okay, the left turn signal is working as it should, and the right turn signal is working as it should. Okay, the fuel gauge shows a little over a quarter of a tank, so we know it's working. We have an oil pressure gauge that's working, temperature gauge that is coming up as we speak, and a voltmeter that is not functioning. It's not hooked up apparently. Let's see if our radio works. David, you got any idea how you turn this thing on? Okay, radio that probably needs someone with more electronically oriented than myself to function. Okay, let's go for right, see how this guy runs. Nice sound of car, speedometer's working just as it should. Okay, on the road, no hands on the wheel. Let's see how it stops, no hands on the wheel. Cold-blooded. Real nice. Nice tight running car. Steering is nice and positive on it. I don't know. It's a nice tight running car. Nice fitment everywhere. Only thing I don't like is the Mickey Mouse shifter, but other than that, this car is a nice strong running car. Pulls real well. We are underneath our 1966 Chevy Nova. Really fantastic car. Brand new rotors, brand new calipers, brand new backing plates, brand new hardware, new alternator. This appears to be about 1.5 inch set of long tube headers that are on it. Has a deep, we're going to call it an 8-quart deep sump pan with the cut tunnel in it for the steering for the Novas. They needed that. It has a correct style cartridge type for 1966-67 oil filter on it. It has a new Pitman arm on it, new idler arm. Steering box appears to be a new steering box. Aftermarket converter, blue. Well, I'm sure it's a stall converter. I don't know what stall speed. I'm going to say 2500, but I don't really know exactly. Trick flow deep transmission pan on it also. It does not have a shield to cover over the flywheel and converter area, bell housing area. Most of the cars that are Southern cars, they delete those. They leave those off just because they need some airflow, some ventilation for that to keep that oil as cool as you possibly can. It does have the correct steel cooling lines running forward on it also. It does have a really great set of fender wells that are undisrupted in any way. And they transition onto what appears to be the original floor pans. I really don't see anything that tells me that they aren't the original floor pans in this vehicle. Transition over to the rocker panels. They still have their pinch welds on them. Has a set of subframe connectors, pretty substantial too, that connect the front to the rear subframes, the spring perches on this particular vehicle. You can see there's no leaks whatsoever on the transmission pan or the engine pan. Also, new starter on it. It does have a new starter. The 1.5 inch primary pipes transition into about a 3-inch collector that goes into, I'm going to call it a 2 2.25 inch stainless steel primary tubing that comes off the collector and goes through the turbo style mufflers in the rear, which we'll see just shortly here. Again, no leaks at the rear of the tail shaft of the transmission or the speedometer cable housing. New U-joint in the front, new U-joint in the rear. Again, the floor pans, you can see, are just as sweet as could possibly be. You cannot find a nicer set of floor pans than this car has on it. It still has the original splatter undercoating and portions of it also. Some of it appears to have been cleaned off, but the majority of it is still through the center section of the car. Drive shaft's nice and clean. There's no deterioration on anything. The frame connectors, subframe connectors, are actually tied on physically. They're welded to a couple pieces of substructure of the floor bracing. So this thing, it kind of gives it almost a full perimeter frame that this car has. It's substantially stronger than it ever was in 1966 when this car left the factory. Everything on this engine, which we did a video of the engine compartment, everything on this motor shows it to be an L79 car. It is I don't know if it's the correct engine date code wise. I don't remember there being any numbers on the motor, so it may have been rebuilt through the years. But every indication, the way it runs, the double hump heads, the intake manifold, carburetor, that 1966 style oil filter cartridge on it, everything depicts it to be an L79 car. It's a great car, great undercarriage. We're halfway through it, and honestly, I can't find a single thing. And you can see everything is just as dry as can possibly be. New brakes in the front, solid underpinnings everywhere. Let's do the second half, see what we can find there. Okay, again, our stainless steel primary 2.25 pipes going into 2 stainless super turbo mufflers, and I'm going to give it probably 2.25 out also. It appears to be pretty good sized tubes coming out of this guy too. So it's got a nice substantial exhaust system on it. Has a set of Lakewood style traction bars on it, a pair of air shocks so that you can adjust the ride height in the rear. These cars came with a monoleaf suspension, and they really did need these traction bars to compensate for the torque that these engines put out. Has a 12-bolt heavy-duty Chevrolet rear end in it with a fin cover on the back of it. Has a new round of rubber all four corners of this guy. Really looks like a nice set of tires on it, BFGs. Gas tank, yeah, there's a little tiny bit of a crease right here in it, a little tiny dingy. Another little slight one there, a little crease, but nothing that would dictate that you would ever replace the tank in this vehicle. The floor pans in the trunk are original and just as sweet as could possibly be. Drop down into quarters the same exact way. Spring perches in the back are real nice and clean. Your structural pieces where the frame transitions across in the back, all nice as you'd ever want to have. There's no pull marks or anything on them. Geez, I can't see anything on this car that's out of place. Everything appears to have a lot of originality to it. If anything has been replaced on it, I certainly can't, just with a quick go around here, I can't really see anything that's been disrupted in any way at any time. And again, your subframe structures that transition up over the rear differential are as nice and clean and straight as you'd ever want to have. This is a nice 66 Nova. 66 and 7s are probably the most popular. This vehicle is just as nice as you'll ever find. It's available here at Hanksters, and it definitely warrants a look at if you're looking for one of these Generation Novas. Very nice one.